Hey, what's going on, guys? Bill Geither here. So, today is a pretty big milestone in my life, and I just wanted to share that all with you guys here today. 20 years ago today, I signed my associate agreement to become a marketing rep with Legal Shield. Now, I did it because I'd found myself what I like to call involuntarily unemployed a couple times, and I didn't really have anything else going on as far as job wise. And I saw this company and this opportunity to work from home and be able to make some money until I found another job. Well, in my first month with Legal Shield, I made about $3,800. By the end of my first year, I made enough money to not only not have to go get a job myself, but I retired my wife as well at the age of 30, brought her home. And today we've built a very nice book of business that it pays us quite handsomely. But, you know, as I was thinking about and reflecting over the last 20 years and why I decided to stay here, I wanted to share this story with you because pretty early on in my career, I was going to a school because one of the ways that we market Legal Shield is as an employee benefit. So I was going to a school that day. I had lined up to go to visit teachers at a school. And I had some what I thought was some bad news happen earlier that day, and I wasn't really taking the information, the news that I got very well, and I almost canceled my appointment at that school that afternoon just because I was frustrated for the day, and I knew that previously because I'd been to this school before, it didn't have a lot of participation, and the principal there wasn't really on board. So I almost just canceled it and didn't even go. And my wife, thankfully, brought me back to reality. And she said, look, successful people do what unsuccessful people aren't willing to do. And even if you just go and protect one family with the service today, Bill, it will be worth it. And she was right. So I sucked it up and I went to the school. Well, when I got to the school this year, that particular year, this has been 15, 16 years ago, it was very different. Once I got there, the principal came out. She's like, oh, Mr. Geither, we're so glad you're here. Come on in the media center. We're going to get everybody in here. And they make an announcement and said, Mr. Geither with Legal Shield is here. Everybody come to the media center. And everybody came pouring in. And there was about 50 something people there. And then she gave me this really nice introduction. And she said, I know some of you signed up with the benefit last year, and a couple of you got speeding tickets and used it for that. But we all know what happened with Linda. So we would really recommend that you listen to what Mr. Geither has to say. Now, I didn't know who Linda was or what happened. So I did my little 5 or 10 minute presentation, expecting that, maybe 1 or 2 people might sign up. Finished up, and every single person in the room signed up. Like literally, 50 something people brought me their applications. And so I'm getting all the paperwork together. I'm getting ready to leave. And this lady comes up to me and she goes, Mr. Geither. And I turned around and she's a little lady, maybe 5 foot tall. If you know me, I'm 6'5", 300 pounds. So I'm not a little guy. And she's maybe like 5 feet tall, maybe like 100 pounds soaking wet. And she goes, hey, I'm Linda. And I'm like, Linda that the principal talked about? She said, yeah. And I said, oh, well, nice to meet you. And she said, can I give you a hug? Now, she's got these tears kind of in her eyes. And I was like, absolutely. So, this lady that I don't even know is hugging me. And she looks up at me and she's literally a tear coming down her eye. And she says, I want to thank you because you saved my family's life this year. So now I'm pulling up chairs. I'm like, listen, sit down. Tell me what happened. So she tells me, I saw the service last year and just, Linda worked in the cafeteria at this elementary school. So she's not making like, bukus of dollars. And she said, so I saw your presentation last year. She said, I thought it would be pretty good to have. And for the little bit of money it was, I decided to enroll. 4 months later, she said, my 17-year-old son was driving down the interstate out here, I-40 in Hickory, North Carolina. And he had his girlfriend in the car with him. He had an accident and his girlfriend was killed. She said, well, it's not bad enough that he has to deal with that loss and that on his shoulders. She said about a week later, the state charged him with death by motor vehicle, a criminal offense in North Carolina. She said, so I started looking around for an attorney, and she said the cheapest attorney I could find wanted a $15,000 retainer and was going to charge me and bill me at $400 an hour after that. And she said, I just didn't know what I was going to do. She said, I just knew my baby was going to jail because he had an accident. She said, but then I thought, I have this legal thing. Maybe they can help, and I'll call them. She said, so I called the law firm and found out that they actually cover that. That's something that we cover 100% as long as there's no drug and alcohol involved and your car is properly licensed and registered. She said, and the senior partner from the law firm drove 3 hours from where he was to come and meet with me and my son after hours so I didn't have to take any time off work, worked 7.5 months on my son's case, got him exonerated of all the charges. He had to do a little bit of community service, I think, but other than that was exonerated, and it didn't cost her a penny. And she's telling me this story with tears in her eyes and tears running down her face, and I'm tearing up now, and it just made me realize that day, that was the day that I knew I would always represent and offer Legal Shield to people. I realized that day that it was not about how much money I could make. It was not about, any rank or, any status in the company or any of that kind of stuff. I realized that day that it was about doing the right thing to help people, right? And from that day forward, all I have ever done in my Legal Shield business is find people that are willing to listen to what Legal Shield is. Listen to what Legal Shield does. Show them how it can benefit them and their family. Whether they get it or not, that's up to them. I only am always looking for somebody that's willing to listen. And I'm going to tell you, in the day that we live in today, there has never been a more important time than today's times to have access to good quality legal counsel and have people there to guide you and direct you through the murky waters of life that we are all dealing with right now. But I just wanted to share with you that this is why I have planted my flag here. I could tell you story after story after story of how I've enrolled people with Legal Shield and how it saved them, hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars, how it changed the outcome of something for them, how it got them something resolved to their satisfaction. And it didn't cost them $2 or $3 or $400 an hour. I could tell you hundreds of those kinds of stories. But I'm here today, 20 years later, because I know that if there was ever a time that people needed their rights protected, if there was ever a time that people needed to have guidance and know that they have somebody that knows the law and knows what their rights are available to them at an affordable cost, that time is today. And I'm just going to keep going out and seeing the people and telling the story and helping as many North American families as I possibly can. I made it 20 years, and I'm going to make it 20 more. And we're going to make sure that your rights are protected. Because one thing I've learned, if you don't know exactly what your rights are, you simply just don't have any. So thanks so much for watching. You guys have a great day. Stay focused, feel good, and bye-bye for now.